Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 333. I am Brendan. Canelo Alvarez taking on Jermell Charlo for the undisputed super middleweight world title. Okay? Both Canelo, because it's his title, and Jermell Charlo are undisputed champions in their weight class. So they're taking on they're taking on the true undisputed double. I don't know. Belts really don't matter to me. I love talking about interesting fights, and this was interesting to me. So before we get into it, if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video is coming out. If you're looking for other MMA stuff, I put up videos from this weekend, and I put out 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking down fights. All right, let's talk about this boxing match, shall we? Okay, so just to be clear, boxing is not my forte. Right? This is not an excuse for anything I'm about to say, but it's my disclaimer. I am not as well-versed in boxing etiquette, rule set, customs, right? I'm not as well-versed in that. I understand all those things, but when it comes to MMA, I watch a lot more of it, right? So I'm used to it. But we're going to score each one of these rounds and then talk about the scoring. I have not looked at the official scorecards. We will look at them together. Okay, so first round here. Also, let me know down below, what did you guys think of this? Was this fun? I actually enjoyed it. This is one of those ones where it wasn't a ton of output round by round, but generally speaking, because of the technical battle that was occurring, it was fun to watch for me. Round 1, not a lot of action for the first minute. Charlo pawing with the jab and evading. Canelo pressuring forward, able to get Charlo on the ropes for a second. He wasn't able to land anything. All of his hooks landed on the arms or the shoulder. I gave this first round to Charlo. Right? I thought Charlo did a good job with the jab. Apparently, those jabs might not have landed as well as I thought they did, but I thought they landed pretty well, so I had him up 10-9. Second round, right hand from Canelo pokes through. Best strike of the fight so far. Canelo landing that left hook to the body. Canelo doing a good job of backing Charlo up, and Canelo, that was the entire match, by the way. Canelo on the forefoot, Charlo on the back foot. Canelo doing a good job. He lands this nice right hand and a left hook to the body. Another telling thing that will repeat itself through the telling thing. Another technique that just became evident. Good grief. What is with me? It was evident that Canelo's versatile attack was something that he was able to utilize throughout the entire match, and it stopped Charlo from putting much out there. And you see what happens. We'll see what happens later when he actually did. So I had Canelo win in this round. He did way more, going to the body, landing really well, 19-19. Round 3, Charlo doubling and tripling up the jab, going to the body with it. Each round looking about the same. Okay, most of these rounds had a very similar story. Charlo backing up with the jab, but not committing to anything else. Canelo landed a low shot to the hip. Again, another thing that he did multiple times. Just gets warned for it. Wasn't a big deal. Canelo's jab was looking nice when he throws it out there. His jab tended to have a little bit more pop on it, a little bit more sting, snapping Charlo's head back multiple times throughout this fight. Hard body shot from Canelo. Charlo still landing the jab, but Canelo went to the body, and Charlo only landed that jab in this third round, 29-28 for Canelo on my scorecard. Canelo investing to the body, and Charlo trying to fend him off with the jab. He just couldn't keep him away from him. Canelo's pressure is making Charlo shell up and not want to extend his combinations. Canelo with the big right hand finding the mark in this round, and then Charlo opened up a bit more this round, but he just could not find the mark. Canelo just outlanded him, 39-37. Next round here. I think I might have scored something wrong here. No, so far I'm good. Okay, round 5. Canelo landing a hard lead left hook and then a stiff jab. Charlo just not slipping as well as this fight went on. He picked it back up in the later rounds. Charlo finding a home for the lead hook and then taking it to the body. Charlo with the big movement to get off the ropes and try and avoid being stuck in the corner. Charlo with a nice little sequence of a 1-2 and a repeat, then landing a nice left hook. This was a close round. With the last little bit, you could give it to Charlo, but I just didn't see him landing as flush as Canelo did early in the round. So I had it 49-46. in favor. You could give this to Charlo. I totally understand that, but I felt like Canelo landed really flush early, and those shots were better than what Charlo landed later. So I gave this round to Canelo as well, having him up 49-46. Next round, Charlo sitting down on his jab and Canelo matching him. Charlo doing a good job avoiding the biggest shots and rolls and lands a nice left hook of his own. Charlo just not able to sustain any pressure or combos. Another good round with Charlo landing the best headshot and Canelo landing a ton to the body. There's no defining moments in round 6, but usually with the way this fight was going on, that means Canelo was winning. So I have him up 59-55. Okay, next round. Charlo's opening up, extending his combinations with after that jab, but Canelo landing a right hand, and Charlo has to take a knee. So finally, Charlo starts to open up just a little bit, and then he gets caught. Nice lead left hooks from Charlo, popping that jab out there. A hard right hand gets through for Canelo yet again. Canelo warned again for low shot to the hip, but again, it doesn't really matter. It's a 10-8 round for Canelo, clearly, right? So he's up 69-63. Next round here, round 8. Both guys landing lead left hooks and their jabs. The only thing Charlo has been able to land since that first round was his jab consistently, right? And nothing else he was throwing out there was landing. He wasn't opening up. He wasn't extending his combinations. It seemed like Canelo had him paused. It made him think. It made him not want to extend that stuff. And then he did pay for it in that 7th round when he did. So he was a little gun shy, it looked like. He wasn't really sitting down on anything, throwing big. He wasn't even throwing Hail Marys until later on. The body work is really the difference maker for Canelo. Just constantly throwing stuff out there, and when he couldn't find something up top, he was going to the body, investing in it. 79-72 on my card. Good. Canelo's output is keeping him out in front in this is round 9. Charlo finally throwing some combos, finding the mark with a 2. A nice uppercut landing from Canelo in tight. Charlo needs more of this where he opens up. I know he got punished for it earlier, but he's just falling behind. But then he starts to open up. He's using the right hook to the body after the jab. Now Charlo did a much better job in this round, and seeing what he did in round 9 here shows me that he had what it took to win this fight. Yes, he might have gotten caught and maybe he gets finished, but he basically just let this fight go because he wasn't willing to put himself in the fire as much as he possibly could have. I have it 88-82 in favor of Canelo after this round. Next round here. That's where I screwed up. It's the last round. Round 10, Canelo landing to the body and coming up top again with 4 hooks. Canelo's loading up on that right hand, only landing to the body with it. Charlo just not putting enough out there. 98-91 for Canelo. Round 11, Canelo catching the jabs on his gloves and firing a stiff jab back. He just walked them down into the corner, kept the gloves up, catching all of Charlo's jabs, and then just bam, popped one out there, snapping Charlo's head back. Pretty inactive round 11 is for both guys. Down the stretch, they trade, and Canelo finding the mark with a nice jab. In the last 35, 40 seconds, they finally start to open up, throwing hooks at each other. Canelo did land the better shots of those. So I had him up 108-100. Round 12, obviously, it's been... Charlo needs a finish. He's needed a finish for 4 rounds now. Nice 1-2 from Charlo, landing well, using that jab again. A hard left hand lands flush for Charlo as he backs up. Charlo standing his ground a little bit more in this round, especially as it wore on, throwing longer combinations. Charlo could have won this round with that big left hand and the jab. I gave him the last round here. So on my scorecard, 117-110 with just a beautiful show of the sweet science for Alvarez. I don't know. So let's look at the scorecards and see how they scored it here. All 3 judges gave the first 4 rounds to Canelo. Not too much of a controversy from me here, although I did give round 1 to Charlo. I felt like he did more. Again, this could be my boxing inexperience, but I felt like that jab did something, and nothing Canelo did really to land it. That's why I gave Charlo that first round. And then round 5 is where we see a little bit of disparity here with both... who's over here? Over here. Who are these people? Does it not say their names? Good grief. Oh, yeah. Max DeLuca and David Sutherland both giving Charlo round 5. Okay, so remember what I said. In round 5, you could give that to Charlo, but like I said, he did land well going down the stretch, but early on, you got it's recency bias. I know that at the end of a round, it sticks in your memory when you go to write down the scorecard, or if you're thinking about it at home, I know it sticks in your mind as more important, but that's just not how it works, right? A jab in the beginning of the round is just as important as a jab at the end of the round, and the same goes for power shots, right? So if you objectively think that Charlo landed better shots in that round and did more damage with his big power shots, I totally get it. And like I said, it's really close, so I don't think it's controversial to give him that 5th round. But, Steve Weisfield over here did give the 5th round to Canelo. So that's how I had it. I had Canelo winning that 5th round. The only other round here where round 9, clearly a round for Charlo. I'm not off my rocker. I'm not crazy. None of these guys are. I thought that's a good round to give Charlo. And then round 12. Like I said, I gave the last round to Charlo, but I understand if you gave it to Canelo for the pressure and the way he was still landing to the body, throwing those hooks. I just felt like Charlo landed some of the better shots going down the stretch. So I don't think this... Honestly, I don't see a controversial scorecard here. I wish I could go up in arms about the boxing commission like I usually do. Just Canelo made it easy for him. So if they were going to try and scam us, if they were going to try and screw over one of these fighters, they weren't able to do it. Just Canelo made it easy, keeping that output and that pressure on him. That Canelo's been in some controversial fights. The first 2 Triple G fights were pretty controversial in not just my opinion, but a lot of people's opinions. So it's not like he's immune to that. It's not that the boxing commission gets all of Canelo, are completely objective when it comes to Canelo. Clearly, they have a bias when it comes to certain boxers. Overall, this was I had a good time watching this. I enjoyed watching it from start to finish. I thought there was enough activity. Like I said at the opening, it wasn't that this was a slobber knocker. These guys were out there, just taking one to give one. There was a lot of technical boxing in this, and Charlo was doing this thing where he would dip under and he would duck, and Canelo he never really made him pay for that. He only caught him with a couple uppercuts. There was one, like I said, that one good uppercut in one of the rounds. But he never caught him again with that sequence in which he made Charlo take a knee. He did land a right hand, and then another right hand. Was it a right hand or a left hand as Charlo was dipping down? So that he made him pay one time, but really, it's not a. Canelo had a great match, and Charlo was with him every step of the way. I felt like his defense held up for the most part. I felt like he did a good job. This was not a blowout, right? It was a great performance. It was, relatively one-sided, but it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like Canelo was just putting the damage on him and putting it on him for 12 straight rounds and making him pay for every mistake. Charlo was really defensively sound. He was able to avoid a lot of the big shots coming back at him, minus a few times. And because of that, Alvarez was able to win off of volume and go into the body, right? And part of that is, I think, because of those things, because of that volume and that offense and that pressure, it really made Charlo shell up. So he was relatively, and I think he was really, really defensively sound for over the 12 rounds. Most of those 12, he was very defensively sound, and Canelo's pressure stifled Charlo from being able to open up. And when Charlo does open up in that one round, he kind of gets caught, and he wasn't able to really put his foot on the gas until round 9 again. So I think it's this was fun to watch, and I'm excited to see if Bud Crawford takes on Canelo. I think that would be fun. I think technically it'll be fun. I think with the switching stances of Crawford, I think with the power that Crawford can bring up, hopefully he manages to carry that power up with him. And I think his speed and his timing could get Canelo, especially at this point in his career. So if Canelo lands, obviously, it could be lights out. But I think Bud Crawford could do it. So I'm excited. Hopefully that happens sooner rather than later. And you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you guys thought of the match. If you guys are interested in my MMA stuff, I covered the one fight night from this past weekend, from this Friday. There was no UFC this weekend. There was no Bellator this weekend, but I did do those from last week. Dana White Contender Series. I'm breaking those down every single week. So if you're interested in those things, go check those videos out. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. I love you. Have an amazing week.